All right, this is the piece of breaking news we are bringing to you. The court has stayed Manish Sisodia's bail plea and that it will be hearing Sisodia's bail plea on 10th of March. It has also issued a notice on the bail plea of Manish Sisodia. Massive setback to Manish Sisodia. As we all know that the court will be shutting down for Holi, which is scheduled to happen on Wednesday, and now we are learning that the bail plea hearing will be happening on 10th of March. The order on remand to be pronounced in 30 to 45 minutes is what we are learning from now. This is the piece of breaking news that we are bringing to you. Remember, CNN News 18 has been bringing you the latest on Manish Sisodia's hearing. Ananya joins me with the latest. Ananya, massive setback for Sisodia.
Well, definitely bail plea to be heard on 10th of March at 2 p.m. While orders reserved on the remand application filed by the Central Bureau of Investigation, the Central Bureau of Investigation says that he is still non-cooperative, not divulging the correct facts. In fact, the Central Bureau of Investigation, while justifying its 5 days remand, which it had got from the from the court last time, it said that they have confronted him, they have interrogated him till 8 p.m. each day. However, a day got wasted because Manish Sisodia filed a petition before the Supreme Court, which got dismissed. In fact, they also go on to say that certain important documents are still missing and are not being provided by Mr. Sisodia and have to be traced. And in fact, the judge also noted it. In fact, while lawyers of Manish Sisodia tried to say that the remand that is being given out is unjustified, the court was very, very clear that if you think that the remand order, which I had passed on the last occasion, giving out a 5-day police custody remand, was wrong, you could have approached the Delhi High Court challenging the same. The court took a pretty displeasure over such a statement being made by Sisodia's lawyer. But interestingly, Akansha, another defense that Manish Sisodia has brought in today is of his wife's health, saying that his wife is like a vegetable whose body is actually decaying day by day, and that's another defense that Manish Sisodia is portraying. Apart from that he's being cooperative, that he's divulging all the correct facts to the investigation agencies, and in fact he also says that no kind of a fruitful purpose would be served if at all he is kept into custody. So interestingly, we'll have to wait for the court's order as to what the court would have to say over the 3 days police custody remand that has been sought by the Central Bureau of Investigation into this particular case, and whether or not is the same granted by the court.
Absolutely, Ananya. And you know, the fact of the matter remains that if the court would not have granted this custody to the CBI, this would have rather cemented the CBI's argument, which has been there ever since he was arrested on 26th of February. The fact that Manish Sisodia has not been cooperating with the investigation.
Well, definitely. The team for Manish Sisodia has clearly been pointing out that he is cooperative, that he is not evasive in nature. But at the same point of time, the Central Bureau of Investigation opposing this particular remand, saying that he is not divulging the correct facts, he is not disclosing the pure picture before the investigation agencies, and is misleading the investigators, is what the charge of the Central Bureau of Investigation is. They have also said that they have confronted him with certain kind of documents and also certain people. So what happens next into this particular case is something that would be very, very interesting, and the most important question that would be answered in next 30 to 45 minutes is that whether Manish Sisodia is going back to the CBI custody or not.
Absolutely. And in fact, Ananya, if you could throw more light on when should we expect this order on the remand to be pronounced?
Well, Akasha, the order should be pronounced in like 30 to 45 minutes from now. The judge has said that he would be considering all of the facts and would be passing an order shortly, which would be almost like 30 to 45 minutes, where the judge would examine all the arguments placed by the senior counsels appearing, Mr. Manish Sisodia, Mr. Dayan Krishnan, and senior advocate Mohit Mathur, who were representing Manish Sisodia, while on the other end, Mr. Pankaj Gupta, Special Public Prosecutor for the Central Bureau of Investigation, put forth the case for the Central Bureau of Investigation, and said that the 3 days police custody remand that's being sought by the CBI is something that is justified. They have to interrogate him because persistently, you have to remember that he was accused, number one, in the FIR, and the Central Bureau of Investigation has been pushing since the very beginning that he had a very, very active role to play in this particular investigation and in fact the formulation of this particular policy, and that's the reason why he's been arrested so late into this particular case, because the Central Bureau of Investigation, as we were discussing it earlier as well, wants to put a watertight case when it comes to Manish Sisodia, because they don't want to leave any stones unturned when it comes to the prosecution into this particular case, specifically when Manish Sisodia is talked about, because this is not only politically but legally also charging a deputy chief minister of corruption is something that the Central Bureau of Investigation has to be very, very careful of and has to put forth a watertight case before the court of law, and that's the reason why the Central Bureau of Investigation is using and is putting forth a case very, very carefully before the court of law.
Absolutely, Ananya. Important to also highlight the fact that the CBI is, in fact, this CBI custody, now that it's extended, and most likely Manish Sisodia is now expected to return to CBI custody. The coming crucial days are going to be very crucial for the CBI in terms of the ongoing investigation, because that is what the CBI is now planning, to bring those suspects face to face with Manish Sisodia and further build this into a watertight case, as you and Anshul have also been highlighting.
Well, definitely, whether or not Manish Sisodia would be going into CBI custody is a matter of time, and we'll get to know. We can't speculate that. But then, definitely, the Central Bureau of Investigation is trying to put forth a very, very watertight case against Manish Sisodia. But at the same point of time, senior advocates Mohit Mathur and the Krishnan, who are representing Mr. Manish Sisodia, are also trying to put a very, very strong defense against the arguments placed by the Central Bureau of Investigation, clearly saying that all the remand applications are same as they were on the first date. And in fact, when on the second time a remand is granted, the thrust becomes higher, the legal thrust becomes higher, and the court has to put on more conscious when it is granting the remand for the second time, after only seeing as to what is done in the previous days and whether this particular extension would actually result in an asset to the investigation or not, and or whether it is just merely to keep a person in custody, is what the court has to look into. And this is what the argument has been placed by Mr. Krishnan and Mr. Mohit Mathur appearing for Manish Sisodia. Apart from that, another very, very important and peculiar defense that Manish Sisodia's counsel put forth before the court was his wife's medical condition, saying that she, in fact, and I quote Mr. Mohit Mathur and Mr. Krishnan on that they said that his wife's condition is like a vegetable. The body is decaying day by day, and that has to be also considered while they are considering that he is somebody who has deep roots in the society and would not flee away from the country or flee away from the judicial system.
Absolutely, and in fact, the court has come down heavily upon Manish Sisodia, because, as you rightly pointed out, his legal team resorted to a last defense, which, as you described in nature, was rather peculiar, by quoting his wife's ill health, and that too has been overlooked by the court. But that also goes on to say that the court has not been convinced by the arguments that have been presented by Manish Sisodia's legal team.
Well, that is something that would be very, very clear in the order when we see. But court had certain reservations to certain arguments that were given out by Manish Sisodia's counsel, specifically to an argument that was made that the remand order was not justified, or further extension of remand is not justified because, he is cooperating in this investigation and he has deep roots in the society. The court got a little ached and said that if you felt that there is something wrong with my order,
Ananya, we'll continue with our top focus on that news story. I'm afraid we're running short.